Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the deep cervical fascia and its modifications. Along with it, we will also discuss the posterior triangle. First of all, let's initiate with the deep cervical fascia. So, deep cervical fascia is also called as fascia coli. It is also called as fascia coli. So, deep cervical fascia has several modifications which are named as investing layer, pretracheal layer, prevertebral layer, carotid sheath, buccopharyngeal fascia, pharyngobasilar fascia, right, and temporal fascia. First of all, we are going to discuss the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. So now you can clearly appreciate this layer, this fascia, which you can just clearly see over here, right? This is the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. This fascia lies deep to the platysma muscle. This fascia lies deep to the platysma muscle and surrounds the neck like a collar. It surrounds the neck like a collar. इस तरह से पूरा collar की तरह, right? It forms the roof of the posterior triangle of the neck. ये यहाँ से हमने fascia remove कर दिया है. Otherwise ये हमारा sternocleidomastoid के पीछे posterior border के पीछे यहाँ पे हमारी posterior triangle पड़ी हुई है और ये जो हमारा fascia है यहाँ थोड़ा थोड़ा जो हमने remove कर दिया है, it forms the roof of the posterior triangle, right? Now let's discuss the attachments of this deep cervical fascia investing layer of deep cervical fascia. So superiorly it is attached to the external occipital protuberance and superior nuchal line. Then it is continued with the mastoid process, then external acoustic meatus, then the base of the mandible. This is the actually superior attachment of the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. Again I am repeating, external occipital protuberance, then superior nuchal line, then external acoustic meatus, then we will have base of the mandible. Now between the angle of the mandible and the mastoid process, this fascia it will split to enclose your parotid gland. You can clearly appreciate this is your parotid gland, right? This is your parotid gland. It has two laminas. First of all, it has superficial lamina. This is your superficial lamina of the investing layer of deep cervical fascia, and this superficial lamina is also called as parotid fascia. It is also called as parotid fascia. It is thick and dense and it is attached to the zygomatic arch. It is attached to the zygomatic arch. And deep lamina, which we can't see here, which is deeper to this parotid gland, that is attached to the styloid process, mandible and the tympanic plane and यहाँ पे वो जो हम देख नहीं पा रहे एक और है structure, that is called as the stylomandibular ligament. The stylomandibular ligament lies between the styloid process and the angle of the mandible, right, and the angle of the mandible. So you can clearly see here that parotid fascia is very thick, right? That's why the parotid swellings are very much painful, because this is very much thick and it will restrict, right? तो ये इस पर pressure cause करेगा, उसकी वजह से parotid swellings are very much painful, right? Now let's discuss the inferior attachment of this investing layer. First of all, spine of the scapula, then it is continued with the acromion process. Then after this it is attached to the clavicle and then manubrium. The fascia splits to enclose the suprasternal and supraclavicular spaces. Suprasternal space is basically just superior to the upper border of the manubrium, right? And supraclavicular space is the superior to the upper border of clavicle. यहाँ से इसके just superiorly जो space पड़ा होता है यहाँ पे, right? And posteriorly this fascia is attached to the, यहाँ पे जो हम नहीं देख सकते इस टाइम, posteriorly it is attached to the ligamentum nuchae, spine of the C7 vertebra, and anteriorly it is attached to the symphysis mantiae and hyoid bone, which is the visceral bone, hyoid bone, both above and below hyoid bone. It is continuous with the fascia of the opposite side, यानी कि right and left. It will continue as like this, ठीक है? Now let's discuss the other features of the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. this deep cervical fascia, it will splits to enclose two muscles. It will splits to enclose two muscle. First of all, it will just enclose your trapezius muscle and sternocleidomastoid muscle. Now I am going to show you the muscles on the right side of the cadaver, right? So this is your sternocleidomastoid muscle, you can clearly appreciate. So this deep cervical fascia, it will enclose this muscle and it will enclose your trapezius muscle. This is the trapezius muscle, anterior border of the trapezius muscle. This is the posterior and anterior borders of the sternocleidomastoid muscle respectively, right? So this fascia will enclose both these muscles. Now after this fascia will also enclose two glands. I have already shown you parotid gland. Along with it, it will also enclose your submandibular gland, right? And as I discussed earlier, that it will encloses two spaces. One is your suprasternal space, another one is your supraclavicular space, right? So now let's discuss the suprasternal space. It is also called a space of Burns. This space will contain two heads of the sternocleidomastoid and two heads of both sides, right as well as left, right? And jugular venous arch. Along with it, it will also include lymph node and interclavicular ligament. I think this interclavicular ligament you have studied during your upper limb, right? So this supraclavicular space, it is traversed by the external jugular vein, supraclavicular nerves and cutaneous vessels, including lymphatics, right? So it finishes with your investing layer of deep cervical fascia. Now, as I have already just told you the relevant clinical anatomy, in that I have told you that parotid swellings are very painful due to unyielding nature of the parotid fascia, right? And during excision of your submandibular gland, यहाँ पे होता है नीचे submandibular gland, we have to be careful because here we will find the external carotid artery and that should be secured before doing any procedure on the submandibular salivary gland, ठीक है? And sometimes you can just see that division of the external jugular vein in the supraclavicular space, it may cause air embolism. Now this is the external jugular vein, you can clearly see, right? And this is your clavicle, and just superior to clavicle, this is called a supraclavicular space. Sometimes the surgeon can just accidentally just injure this vein, and what can happen? It can result in your air embolism, and that is very much fatal, ठीक है? तो ये इसको ध्यान से रखना होता है. यहाँ पे बिल्कुल ये हमारी एक्सटर्नल जुगुलर वेन है, ठीक है? Now we are going to continue with the pretracheal layer of the deep cervical fascia, right? So in pretracheal fascia, the importance of this fascia is that it encloses and suspends the thyroid gland, which is the largest endocrine gland, right? And forms its false capsule. Now you can just clearly appreciate this is your investing layer, and this layer is called as pretracheal layer of the deep cervical fascia, right? And the attachments of the pretracheal fascia, that it will attach superiorly to the hyoid bone in the median plane. यहाँ पे हमारी hyoid bone है. Superiorly it is attached to the hyoid bone in the median plane, and oblique line of the thyroid cartilage laterally and cricoid cartilage more laterally, ठीक है? As we will go more laterally, I am again repeating from median to lateral side. First of all, in median plane it is attached to the hyoid bone, then oblique line of thyroid cartilage, then cricoid cartilage more laterally, right? So inferiorly below the thyroid gland, it encloses the inferior thyroid veins and passes behind the brachiocephalic veins and finally blends with the arch of aorta and fibrous pericardium. इसके अंदर ऑलरेडी हम ये जो है यहाँ पे जाके ये ब्लेंड कर जाती है सारी नीचे जाके. अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, below the thyroid gland, it encloses inferior thyroid veins, passes behind the brachiocephalic veins and finally blends with the arch of aorta and pericardium, fibrous pericardium. यहाँ पे इस तरह से पूरा इसका कोर्स है इस तरह से, ठीक है? And on either side it will forms the front of the carotid sheath and fuses with the fascia deep to the sternocleidomastoid. Now let's come to the important features of this fascia. First of all, the posterior layer of the thyroid capsule is thick. On either side it forms suspensory ligament. The ligaments are attached chiefly to the cricoid cartilage and extends to the thyroid cartilage. Actually, what is the basic function of this suspensory ligament of your thyroid? That the ligaments they support the thyroid gland and do not let it sink into the mediastinum. ठीक है, they will suspend your thyroid gland, they will support it as well as they will suspend it, and they do not let it sink into the mediastinum. The capsule of the thyroid is very weak along the posterior border of the lateral lobes, right? So let's discuss the relevant clinical anatomy relevant to this pretracheal fascia. The thyroid gland and thyroid swelling, they move with deglutition. Why they will move with deglutition? Because thyroid is attached to the cartilages of larynx by suspensory ligaments of Berry. यानी ये जो हमारा thyroid gland है, ये हमारा larynx क्या है? Larynx is a framework of cartilages, right? Now this your thyroid gland, it is attached to underlying your larynx cartilages with the help of ligaments of Berry. That's why during deglutition this thyroid will move. This thyroid will move along with movement of the jaw, right? So now let's come to discuss the prevertebral fascia. What is prevertebral fascia? Pre means before, yani ki anterior to vertebra. So this your prevertebral fascia lies in front of prevertebral muscles and forms the floor of the posterior triangle of the neck. It forms the floor of the posterior triangle of neck, and superiorly it is attached to the base of the skull. Superiorly it is attached to the base of the skull, and inferiorly it will extend into the superior mediastinum, where it splits into anterior. One layer is anterior layer and another layer is posterior layer. This anterior layer, it is also called as alar fascia, which blends with the buccopharyngeal fascia, and this posterior layer, it is attached to the anterior longitudinal ligament and to the body of the T4 vertebra. Remember it always, this your anterior longitudinal ligament, it is a ligament which lies anterolateral to the vertebral body. It lies anterolateral to the vertebral body, and it will it will inhibit the movement, it will limit the movement of extension of the spine, right? So this anterior lamina, it will attach to buccopharyngeal fascia, and posterior layer is attached to the anterior longitudinal ligament and to the body of T4, right? And anteriorly it is separated from the pharynx and buccopharyngeal fascia by retropharyngeal space containing loose areolar tissue. Now the carotid sheath we will discuss in anterior triangle when we will discuss your carotid triangle in anterior triangle, right? And your buccopharyngeal fascia, it covers the superior constrictor muscle externally and extends on the superior aspect of buccinator muscle. We will discuss it later because यहाँ पे पूरी dissection होगी, then we will see the buccopharyngeal fascia. Now let's continue with the posterior triangle. Now this posterior triangle, it is a space on the side of the neck. It is situated behind the sternocleidomastoid muscle. You can just clearly appreciate this muscle is the sternocleidomastoid muscle, right? And the space behind it, this is called as posterior triangle. Now let's discuss the boundaries of posterior triangle. Anteriorly, it is bounded by the posterior border of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. As you can clearly appreciate, this is sternocleidomastoid muscle, it is anterior border, this is posterior border. So anterior boundary is formed by posterior border of sternocleidomastoid muscle, and posteriorly it is formed by anterior border of trapezius muscle. This is the trapezius muscle, anterior border of trapezius muscle, and inferiorly by the, this is your clavicle, middle one third of clavicle, and inferiorly middle one third of clavicle. Again I am repeating, anteriorly posterior border of sternocleidomastoid muscle, posteriorly anterior border of trapezius, and inferiorly middle border of your middle one third of your clavicle. Apex lies on the superior nuchal line यहाँ पे, ठीक है, where trapezius and sternocleidomastoid muscle will meet, right? Now the roof is formed by the investing layer of deep cervical fascia, which we have removed here, right? The superficial fascia over the posterior triangle will contain platysma, which we have removed, right? Platysma, then external jugular vein, parts of supraclavicular, great auricular, transverse cutaneous and lesser occipital nerves. Now I will show you the external jugular vein. This is the external jugular vein which will comes in the roof of this triangle. This is the external jugular vein. And unnamed arteries derived from occipital, superior, your transverse cervical and suprascapular arteries. Along with it, this roof will also contain the lymph nodes and lymph vessels, right? So now let's discuss the floor of the posterior triangle. The floor of the posterior triangle is formed by the prevertebral layer of the deep cervical fascia along with some muscles. One is your splenius capitis, levator scapulae, scalenus medius and semispinal capitis.